On SportsCenter, the new and terrifying sports trend, the harvesting of body parts, skin, hair, fists, senior fists, bodily fluids, and even, you know. And of course, ears today, gone tomorrow.
I caught him with a good shot, then he bit my other ear.
Full coverage ahead of the Loeb blow. No, that's not who I meant, but she does put a remarkable streak on the line, and a remarkable number of people go see it. Remarkable? This is part of a no-hit bid. This is a little more towards the likely, as, especially lately, is this. You know how hot it was in not the stairs into the eye of the sun, but mama, that's where the fun is. Get a comfortable seat for the big show, because there goes my ride. SportsCenter is next. Hello and welcome from World Headquarters. It's the big show, and alongside my tag team partner, Dan Patrick, I'm Keith Olbermann.
Coming up on SportsCenter, Junior comes through in the clutch in Seattle, but it's not the Junior you think. The Shark lurking in the landlocked city of Memphis. And by having Evander Holyfield for dinner, will Mike Tyson get his just desserts?
Never mind the desserts. What about his purse? But first, how bad can it get for the Phillies? Scott Ruffcorn of the Phils, once the pride of the Chicago White Sox farm system, walked 10 men in his previous start. In fact, he'd walked 28 guys in just 19 1/3 innings all season. So facing the Braves Sunday afternoon, it just couldn't get any weirder for the man originally drafted but not signed by Atlanta. At Ted Turner, Jane Fonda, Hammer and Hank Aaron Monster Vision Stadium at Cartoon Network Yards. Gets Rico Brogna with the line drive to Michael Tucker. Tucker's safe. The call will be reversed. Next batter, Chipper Jones. Got his Mickey Morandini. He's out, though. Manager Terry Francona saying, protect your Morandini. Now in the bottom of the fifth, Ruffcorn is still pitching a no-hitter. Just a bit outside. Over pinch hitter Mike Mordecai's head. Lemke to second, and he walks Chipper Jones in the sixth. He's walked 4 guys, given up no hits, but almost hit. I said dance, fella. Klesko. At this point, Francona says that's enough. Ruffcorn and the no-hitter are removed from the game. Still in the bottom of the sixth, bases loaded. Phillies with a great bullpen, as you know. The aptly named Ron Blazier, Fahrenheit 451. Lemke, no hitters over. Then Keith Lockhart, Mr. Clutch, in the pinch hit with the bases loaded. The Braves score 5 in the sixth and add another one in the seventh. Ruffcorn not only does not get a no-hitter, he doesn't even get a win. He has never had one. Lockhart's grand slam not only won the Braves the game, but as part of a radio promotion, it also won 10,000 fish for 78-year-old Geraldine Thomas of McCaseville, Georgia. Hello. Lockhart also has 13 of the Braves' 18 pinch hit RBI this season. As to the man who put the rough into Ruffcorn, more Bran may be in order. The former 25th overall pick, 0-7 lifetime, ERA 8.46. If he can work on his control, he can be a good pitcher someday, said Braves manager Bobby Cox, who then added something about a man and a cane. The Expos and Marlins in what is developing into a 3-way all-East race for the wild card. Moises Alou, full extension Rondell White, Rondell, it's over there. Okay. Abbott scores, Sheffield scores, Marlins lead 3-0. Top of the fifth, it's 5-0 Florida for Al Leiter. Jose Vidro to Edgar Renteria. First there's a full extension, then there's a they're not gonna get him. He's out. Top of the seventh, the Expos have closed within 5-3. Rondell White still thinking about that play in the first. 2 men are on. Jay Powell.
And here it comes.
Rondell's frozen pizza. Jim Leland is not frozen pizza. Gianluca Pagliuca, Gianluca Pagliuca, Gianluca Pagliuca, Gianluca Pagliuca, Gianluca. Could you get a little tighter in the camera shot? I can't see up his nose. Gee whiz. Carlos Perez now 1-3 lifetime against the Marlins with an ERA of 6.75. The Expos and Marlins thus split. Florida stays 4.5 behind the Braves. The Expos fall to 7.5 behind. Dan?
Last Tuesday night, Randy Johnson tied a Major League record when he struck out 19 Oakland A's. On Sunday afternoon, he needed to strike out 13 Angels to tie yet another record. Back in 1984, Dwight Gooden set the mark for strikeouts in consecutive starts with 32. There's Randy. Yikes. Top of the seventh, 2-2. Bases loaded, 2 down. And Randy Johnson facing Tim Salmon. 7 Ks in 8 innings. Top 9 Angels load the bases again. Nobody out. Johnson is out. Bobby Ayala is in for Seattle. And the Jerry Seinfeld with a goatee gets Luis Alicea to fly out to center. Orlando Palmeiro holds up at third, respecting the gun of Ken Griffey Jr. 1 out. Next batter, Dave Hollins. The first, Paul Sereno gets the force of the plate. Almero's aggressive slide breaks up the double play, 2 outs. Next batter, guess who comes calling again? Bases loaded, Tim Salmon. Got him going. 3 outs. Angels blow the big opportunity. Bottom of the ninth, Russ Davis representing the winning run at first. There's Russ. Rich DeLucia's pitch gets by Chad Kruder. Davis hustles to second. And then he gets a little bit greedy. Dave Hollins gets Davis. Kruder's throw right on the money, 2 outs. Same at bat, Jose Cruz Jr. Ball game. 6th of the year. 6th since being called up in May. Mariners win it 3-2 in their final at-bat. Johnson allowed 5 hits, 5 walks in his 8+ innings of work. Darren Erstad, the only lefty in the Angels lineup, had 2 of the 5 hits. To the Bronx, Yanks and Indians. Yanks down 1-0 third inning. Sandy Alomar Jr. calling for the curve. Jason Hakami to Tino Martinez. Oh, it curved all right. How about 439 feet? That's 3-run homer. 28th on the year. Yankees up 3-1. David Cone, 4th inning. We're tied at 3, facing the New York native Manny Ramirez. You know, every time he comes to New York, that's what people say. If you want to be a sportscaster, don't use these lines. Marquise Grissom, Kevin Seitzer, and Jim Tomei all scored. Indians take a 6-3 lead. Bottom of the 4th, game tied at 6. Lefty Paul O'Neill. Sister writes for the New York Times. Off Steve Klein, Joe Girardi, and Derek Jeter score. Yanks up 8-7.
Trying to get in the New York Times?
I'm trying to get in the Times. 6th inning, some Yankee leather. Marquise Grissom, Louis Soho, full extension. Top of the 8th, Grissom seeking revenge. You're leaving, it's mine.
It's yours.
Line drive beyond Soho's reach. Tony Fernandez scores, and the Indians score 3 in the 8th and tied at 10. Bottom of the 8th, it's lefty Tino Martinez, lefty Paul Ossenmacher. Theme warning. Base knock. O'Neill trots home. Yanks up 11-10. Top 9, Alomar trying to extend his hitting streak to 26 games. He does. Went 1 for 5 on the day. 2 outs, pinch runner. Trinidad Hubbard at 3rd, the tying run. Mariano Rivera facing Chad Curtis. And Chad Curtis trying to come up with it. Gets Fernandez. Rivera gets the win. Yankees hold on to win it by the final of 11-10. Martinez has produced 11 hits in his last 20 at-bats, 6 of the 11 homers. Following the game, Yankee catcher Joe Girardi said, "This series was like a heavyweight battle that should be on pay-per-view." Bite somebody. To Camden, the O's and J's. Juan Guzman, fresh off the DL, facing Geronimo Baroa in his debut. 1-0 O's. Top 3rd, tied at 1, 2 outs. Jacob Brumfield to the hole. Cal Ripken got him. Bottom 4, why am I yelling? O's up 2-1, bases loaded, 2 outs. Kelvin Escobar facing Baroa. Kelvim Kelvin goes down swinging with a K. Top 5, same score. Charlie O'Brien. He's going to test Cal again. Oh, don't test Cal. Cal! Great grab. Helps that Charlie's running, but a wonderful, wonderful play. I'd like to see it again. And since it's my show now, I get to do whatever I want. Cal comes up throwing. Top 7, still 2-1 Baltimore. Sean Green. Into right center, past Brady Anderson, all the way to the wall, and then watch Green turn on the wheels. He would later score to tie it at 2 as he gets under the tank. Bottom 7, 1-on-1 out. It's Baroa again. And he's a free swinger. The whiff. Bottom 9, O's trail 3-2. Nobody on, nobody out. Mike Bordick trying to bunt.
Mike Bordick in at 3rd and guarding.
Great play by Carlos Garcia, but Bordick beats him to the bag. He's safe. Baroa gets another chance. 1 on and 2 out. He's making his debut. Oh, he is gonna.
It is hard.
It is far. It is deep, but not deep enough. Otis Nixon makes the grab. And the Jays win it by the final 3-2. Juan Guzman and 4 relievers combined for the 5-hitter. The O's, who had not lost 2 straight this season, did so over the weekend to the Blue Jays.
It's official now. Boxing is no longer a sport. Now it's a parody of the life of Vincent van Gogh. If Evander Holyfield keeps his crown, Mike Tyson loses his dentures. Now Nevada lawmakers are looking into stiffer penalties for ear biting. How about stiffer penalties for people convicted of being involved in boxing? It's not just that the game has lost any romance. Worse still, it's not even funny anymore. Sunday, reporters asked Holyfield for his thoughts. No, he didn't say, huh? What? Huh?
It hurt so bad that when I went to the corner, I was frustrated. And in my corner, people were saying, you know, just relax, man. Just relax, pray. And, you know, and I was able to relax. And that's the only reason I went back out there. And I'm glad you know, they probably would have disqualified me if I wouldn't have fought. But more, they would say, you know, the guy took the easy route out. But, you know, after I was able to get focused, you know, I went back out there. You know, but I went back out there to, you know, really try to get the fight over. And I caught him with a good shot. Then he bit my other ear.
I believe the actions of Mike Tyson were tortious actions. Whether Evander Holyfield wants to do something about that or not is something that we'll consider in due course.
An old Monty Python sketch concludes with a boxing promoter admiringly asking his trainer, "Did you see the champ's right arm?" The trainer says no, and the promoter says, "Well, wait till everybody leaves and then look around the hall afterwards." Thus, it proves it nearly happened Saturday night in Las Vegas. As the crowd filed out after the disqualification, a hotel worker found an inch-long piece of Holyfield's ear and took it to his dressing room. Hey, thanks.
Despite going winless on the PGA Tour in 1997, Greg Norman still found himself sitting atop golf's throne as late as 3 weeks ago. Norman, who for the first time in his career missed the cut at both the Masters and U.S. Open, was in Memphis this weekend, a perfect place for the King to reappear. Dudley Hart, the man to catch, the approach on 15. A hole that he would birdie, and he would go into the clubhouse at 15 under, and your leader. 16th hole, Greg Norman, 13 under. Looking for a Sandy. He would birdie the hole to go to 14 under. 17th hole, toughest hole on the course. Best swing of Norman's year, and the biggest.
At Southwind.
Knocked it to within 3 feet of the cup. He would birdie and tie Hart at 15 under. So Hart, sensing a playoff, goes to the range. 18th hole, Norman, second shot. Got it a little fat, but got it in great position, at least for a two-putt and a playoff, 25 feet from the hole. Norman putting for the win. And it touches nothing but the bottom of the cup. Third straight birdie for Norman. Dudley says he made it. I'm done. 16 under. Norman wins, and does so in dramatic fashion. Norman's last win on the PGA Tour came in March of 1996 at Doral, but keep in mind he did win the Australian Open in November and the Anderson World Consulting Championship, seen here on ESPN, in January. Since the well-documented collapse, I'm a company man.
Oh, yeah.
Since the well-documented collapse at Augusta in April of '96, Norman has played in 18 tournaments in North America, but did not post a win till Sunday. But he has now, isn't your contract running out now? It's over. Keith can now leave. He is now placed in the top 5 in 4 of his last 5 starts. Norman now has at least 1 PGA Tour win in 9 of his last 10.
Here's the rest of the
to
show.
Olympia Fields, Illinois, the final round of the U.S. Senior Open. One of the better shots of the day on 18, Dr. Gil Morgan, second shot. Shot a 68, ended up +2 for the tournament. Duel of the day between Graham Marsh and John Bland. Marsh's ball in a divot on 17. The approach, he's staring it down, which usually means good things. Birdie the hole. He was at level par. Bland on 17. Looking for the birdie to go to level par as well. So the par 4 18th. Both golfers tied for the lead. Marsh's second shot safely on the green, a man who has won tournaments in Thailand, Tokyo, Germany, Australia. Bland, third shot out of the bunker. Did not like this one. It would not stay. And he saw his tournament hold slipping away as well. Next shot for Bland. He has to make this for par. It peels away at the end. He would bogey the hole. That set up Marsh the tap in. Finished the tournament even par and wins for the second consecutive week. Marsh won despite karting, golf term, 7 bogeys during his final round. Bland has finished in the top 7 in 6 of his last 7 starts, but does not have a victory. Marsh, the first Senior Open winner to not break par since Jack Nicklaus in 1991. Following the festivities, Marsh said he refused to take a ride on that emotional roller coaster.
I think I took pretty good care of my emotions. I had the chances to run with it when I was playing well, and I had the chances to work on my emotions when I was playing like a dog today. So, you know, I'll remember that.
I gave my best shot, you know, there's next year, and we go next week, we go to a tournament again, and we'll just keep trying, you know, there's always a chance.
However elitist or embarrassing American sports can get, can you ever imagine a major event here becoming so separated from society that one day of it would actually be condescendingly called the People's Sunday? Such it was for Wimbledon, and only the second day ever of play on the Sabbath, wherein the so-called lower classes were permitted to spend their farthings to see their betters play the tennis. The People's Choice on the People's Sunday. Homestanding Tim Henman against Paul Harhouse with a very unfortunate name. Harhouse match point on his serve at 5-4 in the fifth, but he double faulted. And then an error on the volley. Well, actually, it's not. It's House. Down in front, it's House. Tied at fifth in the fourth, tied at 5 in the fifth. No tiebreaker in the deciding set, so on they play. An ace down the middle for Paul. They go back and forth, holding serve easily. Tied at 11-11, which is what you'd be tied at. Now Harhouse serving at 11-12. Went to the net, but the volley is long. It's like the old shots from the LA Forum. Sit down! Harhouse bears down with the good deep serve. Henman into the net. It'd be 12-all. He's fighting the home crowd and the home turf as well with the whiff. Sue me. Henman 13-12. Volleying errors, please.
Well, it worked this
And the flow down in front. Bloody peasant. Harhouse down, love 40. Henman with yet another match point. Here's the poor volley. Henman passes him with the forehand. It's over. It's all over. All over bar the shouting. All right. $8.25, that's what you get when the crowd only has to pay $8.25. Other first-round matches besides the Henman Marathon, Krajcek over Reichel. The 15th seed, Ferreira, is upset. In the second round, Kafelnikov and Rios win. Rafter over Knipschild. Leva swallowed whole, and Ann Hayden and Jones and her husband Pip devoured by a giant tennis-playing blancmange. They mean to win Wimbledon.
3 weeks after rejoicing in the city's first Stanley Cup triumph in 42 years, Detroit Red Wing fans have another reason to celebrate. We'll have that story when SportsCenter returns. Also on the menu, more baseball as the Rocks and Giants meet in Colorado, and the reunion has deep meaning for Barry. In Pittsburgh, here it comes. There it goes, as Todd Hundley gives Chris Peters whiplash. And in Oakland, it's 29 and counting for Mark. That's next. 22 days after winning the Stanley Cup and 16 days after suffering a near-fatal car accident, Red Wing star Vladimir Konstantinov and team masseur Sergei Manatsakanov are coming out of their comas. Both men were upgraded to serious condition Sunday and will likely avoid brain surgery.
I think that it would be appropriate to say that they are emerging from coma. Certainly Mr. Manatsakanov spends a great deal of time in a wakeful state, responding very positively, and Mr. Konstantinov spends a great deal of time much more wakeful than he had been prior to the last time we met. This is a very long, very gradual process. It's not something that happens abruptly, and both men have a very long way to go, but it would be proper to say that both are emerging from coma.
Detroit defenseman Vyacheslav Fetisov injured his chest in that same crash, but was released from the hospital back on June 18th. The driver of the limo has not been charged, but police say the investigation still continues. Keith?
We have told you already of the travails of Scott Ruffcorn of the Phillies, 0-7 lifetime, ERA 8.46. He was the 25th pick in the 1991 amateur draft. The 11th pick that same day was Sean Estes, now of the Giants, and by rights, probably the most deserving to start the All-Star game for the National League. Estes, 3-8 lifetime beginning 1997, 10-2 beginning play Sunday afternoon, facing the Rockies in Denver. This is how you get rid of the Rockies. Kurt Manwaring, snap me.
What you had to say then.
Walt Weiss, fastball on the outside corner. 7 strikeouts. Top of the fourth, we're scoreless. Nobody on, no score. Or Barry Bonds against Roger Bailey. Which Bailey? He hit the ball real hard. 19 home runs. Giants would lead 5-0. Not on a solo home run, obviously. Bottom of the 7th, bases loaded after a Walker RBI cuts it to 5-1. Julian Tavares gets Andres Galarraga to pop it up down the foul line. Jeff Kent, full extension.
Makes a great catch.
Anyway, the runners all move up, but it's 5-2 Giants. They got an out. That's the most important part. Next hitter's Dante Bichette. Bill Miller, nice pickup, but the throw is low. Oh, JT Snow, that's why he won a Gold Glove. 2 outs, runners can't advance, and Estes obviously not an Estes rocket scientist right there. Okay. Next batter is Vinny Castille. Yeah! Tavares gets him to Kent, and that's a final. As are several things. 7 in a row for Estes and an 11-2 record. It's got to be him, Nagel, Pedro Martinez, or Bobby Jones. Bonds is now homered in 11 of his last 22 games. The Gents have gone yard 20 times in 10. Speaking of which, the Mets at Pittsburgh, the Al Martin fan club was there. We hope it has more than just those like 8 guys there. Bottom of the first, he's just added some membership to the rolls. Steve, I don't think it's off the ex-Bucko Rick Reed, his 7th. Pirates would jump to a 6-1 lead. But the Mets have this thing about the Pirates. Butch Husky hits it real hard. Matt Franco hits it real hard. Gene Lamont hits the turf. Brings out Francisco Cordova. Chris Peters is the new pitcher. John Olerud says they're all meat to me. Since they left him alone, he has turned back into the hitter he was in 1993. Cordova has also left the building in a hurry. Mets are trailing 7-6. Todd Hundley, next batter, back-to-back off the beach ball. Gee, did you see that thing break? We all did. People in Australia saw that thing break. Tied at 7. Top of the 8th, Everett at 3rd. The 4th-string shortstop, Eloy Lopez, drops one into left center, and here comes the winning run. And the Mets lead 8-7 and win 10-8. 5 homers for the Metsies, who scored 9 in the final 3 for their 6th win over the Pirates in 7 games over the last 2 weekends. 4 of them by late comebacks. Ricardo Jordan gets the victory, and then he and utility man Steve Beezer are sent out to Norfolk. Thanks. Mets, don't you think you're a little hard on the Beezer? Dodgers and Pods at Chavez Ravine. It's Eric Karros. It's spelled Karros. It's Karras. And he reminds you of this by hitting a ball deep into the pavilion section at Dodger Stadium. Game is tied at 2. Shank or butt portion. Bottom of the 5th, still tied. Pedro Estacio, Kilvio Veras. First and second for Brett Butler and the bunt. Great pickup by Danny Jackson, and he takes a bite out of crime. He thinks he's Mike Tyson. Bases loaded for Wilton Guerrero. Laces the single to left. No, nobody ever laces an out. You notice that? An offensive explosion follows. The Dodgers, leading 3-2, blow up and win 10-4. Estacio's first victory in 11 starts. The Dodgers' first win against the Padres in 11 starts. Their first win against them at Chavez in 9 starts. Danny Jackson 0-4 for the Pods. Tony Gwynn got the day off. He's still hitting .393. Dodgers option Karim Garcia and recall Todd Hollinsworth. I can recall...
On Saturday night in Oakland, A's rookie Brad Rigby made 2 mistakes, and Juan Gonzalez made sure they were costly ones. His 2 home runs were the difference in the Rangers' 2-0 victory. Rigby's loss kept an Oakland streak alive. No A's pitcher has started and won his Major League debut since Steve Karsay did nearly 4 years ago. Segue. Karsay on the mound looking for a 2nd straight win, getting some help early, facing Pudge Rodriguez. This out was laced. The liner, Matt Stairs, known for his bat, ducks, and gets it. Mark McGuire, bottom of the 2nd. A's down 1-0. Gone. 29th on the year. This one off Ken Hill, and we're tied at 1. Rangers were up 4-2 in the 7th when Juan Gonzalez came to the plate against Carlos Reyes. 17th on the year. The Rangers appeared to be cruising 5-2, but the A's rally in the 8th at the expense of John Wetland in to face Dave Magadan. Magadan with Texas leading 5-4. Base hit brings in Damon Mayshore. Game tied at 5. Next batter, the Rangers bring in the infield against Mark Bellhorn. Bellhorn got enough of it. The little flare down the line. Scott Spezio scores. And the A's would win it. A very emotional night. Very emotional. I get emotional just thinking about it. 7-5. Jason Giambi, 2 for 3. He has now reached base in 37 straight games. Karsay, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, but was not in the decision. To the Metro, it's the Twins and the Sox. White Sox down 1-0, 2 out, 2 on. Dave Stevens at the plate, top of the 2nd. Chris Snopek. Darren Jackson can't come up with it. 2 come in. White Sox leading 2-1. Bottom of the 8th, Twins down by 2, 1 on, 2 outs. Roberto Kelly at the plate, hits it deep. Mike Cameron. Got it! Robs Kelly of the 2-run homer. Cameron, after the game, said he couldn't wait to get home to watch this on SportsCenter. Hi, Mike. Kelly, I don't think we'll be watching. White Sox hold on to win it, literally hold on to win it. By the final of 6-4, Wilson Alvarez won for the 4th straight start. Chicago has won 10 of its last 12. Roberto Hernandez working the 9th for his 19th save. And for Stevens, he is still winless in 1997. Still to come on the Lame Duck Big Show. Back to the National League for the Reds and Redbirds as Royce rolls. And at Wrigley, Derek Bell has only 4 home runs as we approach the All-Star break. Better make that 5.
July 7th, it's time to play long ball. Baseball's Lords of Lumber step up to the plate at the Jake for the Gillette Home Run Derby, where it's go deep or go home. Say goodbye, Mr. McGuire. Part of a big night of all-star action. Coverage begins at 7:30 with the All-Star Gala, presented by MCI, followed by the Gillette Home Run Derby at 9, Monday, July 7th on ESPN.
To Pikes Peak International Raceway, the IRL Samsonite 200 and Scott Sharp's day would end early. More on Scott in a moment. Lap 164, Indy 500 winner Arie Luyendyk out of the race. Here's why. A look from Luyendyk's car. He gets sideways, tries to hang on, but then gets into the wall. Tony Stewart would hold on to win the Samsonite 200, and his crew has to be ecstatic. So is Tony. 26-year-old Stewart, who has started from the front row 6 times this year, has led in 9 of the 10 IRL events. Stewart now trails IRL points leader Davey Hamilton by 5 points in the standings. An update on Scott Sharp, who, as you saw earlier in the highlights, was injured again on Sunday. It was his first race and suffering head injuries during qualifying in Indianapolis. As of Sunday evening, a Colorado Springs hospital listed Sharp in serious condition with a brain hemorrhage. It is not clear whether it's a repeat of an old injury or something new. Sharp was awake and alert when he was taken to the hospital, Keith.
One of the world's great humans, the comedian, actor, sports fan, and general mensch Richard Lewis turned 50 years old Sunday. As long, he says always, as you have your health. The Cincinnati Reds don't. Segue. Against St. Louis Sunday, only one anticipated Reds regular, first baseman Hal Morris, started at his position. As Richard also says, I'm doomed. Cards and Reds at Busch, and this one took forever. Tied at 4 in the 8th. This is still early in the day. Remlinger to Clayton. He hit the ball real hard. Cards leading 5-4. But at the bottom of the 8th, the Reds with a makeshift lineup with Taubensee in left and Oliver catching. And Joe Oliver goes yard against T.J. Matthews. We're tied again at 5. Top of the 12th. 2 rain delays, a presidential election, a new space shuttle. Schaefer at second. Ron Gant does it to his old teammates. Schaefer, they're not gonna. Yeah, I know. Join you in the Alumni Association. Cards win 6-5. By the way, rain delays, 2 of them. Remember when the Reds gave out fishing rods on the 8th and there was a deluge, they got a rain out? They gave out the leftover rods at this game and had 2 rain delays. Cards blew 4 leads, still won. Elapsed time, 6 hours and 20 minutes. Crowd estimate at game's end, 200. Not 206, 200. In Chicago, sign says begin no parking here. So I did, and you told me? Tow this. There's been a Tommy Green sighting. Started for the Astros, and doubled over the head of Dave Clark. Run scores. It's 2-0 Houston. Hello. 2 batters later, 2 on for James Mouton. And he finds where Dave Clark is standing and puts it just a little bit beyond him. 2 more runs score. We're now 4-0 Houston. 3 batters later, hey. The Astros have loaded him up, speaking of which. Brad Ausmus, Clark not appearing in your picture. All righty then. Everybody scores. Every Astro scored except John Glenn. 7-0. That's speed. Top 7, 2 on, 1 out. Thomas Howard is out there. No, Clark was out there to rob Thomas Howard. Bottom of the 9th, 10-8 Stros. The tying run was at first, but it's the Cubs. Glanville, Bogart Biggio, and the ball game is over. Astros 10-8. At the season's midpoint, the Stros are 40-41 and in first place. Green's first start since September 16, 1995, and that reference to a Tommy Green sighting or an anybody sighting, that is a direct ripoff from one of the great sportscasters of all time, Jerry Gerard, lately of New York's WPIX. Just wanted to get that in there. Still ahead on the big show, Sergeant Benjamin gets drilled out of the Corps, and Troy O'Leary gets hung out to dry. More American League efficient baseball. All the ball ahead with this quality TV sports product continues. Back to catch up Sunday at Wimbledon on the women's side of things, and it's Martina Hingis against Nicole Arendt. And she wasn't. 6-1, 6-3. Third rounders, the Hingis and Maioli victories. A huge upset with the 16-year-old Kornikova over Huber. Conchita Martinez is surprised. Spurlea is not. Schultz McCarthy is. Second round victories. Celis beats Brandy. You're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. Novotny is not upset, but Davenport is. The blancmange has now been identified as being from the planet Skyron in the galaxy of Andromeda. And that could be its undoing, Dan, because the Wimbledon rules state quite clearly that at least one human must be involved in the final.
The question is not just if, but where and when. Published reports out of Boston say Will Cordero will be gone within the next 2 days. The Red Sox left fielder accused of domestic violence was once again a no-show at Fenway Sunday when the Sox hosted the Tigers. And for Jimmy Williams, that's an X, that's a D, and this is anything but a letter-perfect suicide squeeze. Mike Benjamin misses. Troy O'Leary gets tagged. Sox still lead 6-5. Top of the 7th. Damon Easley at third, and that's Curtis Pride. The shot to left, Troy O'Leary filling in for Cordero and makes the great grab. Easley scores easily. Tied at 6. Bottom of the 7th, Darren Bragg. And a horrendous slump. Doubles off Jose Bautista. Tavares will score. Red Sox win it 8-6. Bragg's 7th inning double, broken 0 for 15 slump. Steve Avery, who hasn't pitched since May 3rd, will make a final rehab start on Monday for Pawtucket. To Kaufman, Royals Brewers, ooh, it was hot. Everybody feeling it. Needless to say, home plate umpire John Hirschbeck might be a little cranky in this heat. Scott Carl pitching. Watch the bouncing ball. It bounces right up and hits John Hirschbeck. He would take some time, but he's a gamer. He would stay in. And then, not only in pain, but also hot under the collar, Dave Nielsen will test him with runner aboard. And Nielsen strikes out looking. And then it looks like, you know, friendly conversation. Ooh, I think he said something.
Australian.
Go, down under. Top 9. Game side at 2. Runner at second, Jeff Hewson.
Hello.
Antone Williamson comes in, 3-2 Brewers. And they win it by that same final.
Australian for...
So the A's, American League's worst road team, takes its second straight come-from-behind win away from County Stadium. Dave Nielsen ejected for arguing the called third strike. 10 of the game's 19 Ks were on called third strikes.
Still ahead on this big show, the plays of the week or the misplays of the week. Sometimes it's like they just know what I'd like to see them do. That's next. This is SportsCenter.
ESPN's ride-along program takes you back to Daytona. Jeff Gordon's red hot. Now the points race is really heating up. Come along for the ride. Pepsi 400, Saturday at 11 on ESPN.
The 1997 Tour de France, 2,300 miles in 22 days. First up, a series of long-distance high-speed burns through the lowlands of Bordeaux. The Tour de France. Coverage begins Saturday at 11 on ESPN2.
The theme for the plays of the week, the lottery. So among those you won't be seeing, World League President Oliver Luck, the late-grade sports writer Milton Richmond, and 19th century outfielder Tom Poorman, and, of course, ex-St. Louis Cardinals punter Chuck Lottorette.
With this being Keith's final show and being the good team player that I am and the company man, I let him take all the good names. Let me just say, here are the plays of the week.
Lying.
Aspect of it, too. Careful with his back.
Oh, McGuire. What a shot. Mark McGuire has done it. He has teed off on Randy Johnson and destroyed the baseball.
Right field. Javier chasing. Javier with a great catch. Flaherty hammered on his right shoulder.
And he pulls one to left side. Tomas Perez deep in the hole. Got him!
Lost the velocity on the fastball. Jeter in the hole, and the long throw will be in time.
He hits that one high, deep center field. A long run for Buford. He leaps. Did he make the catch?
Yes, he did. What a play by Damon Buford.
With a rocket to deep right. DeLucci to the made a sensational diving grab.
High fly ball left field line. This ball hanging around.
Did that hit Dion on the head? That ball is smoked. Jim Edmonds on his horse dives. He makes another sensational catch.
Plays of the Week is brought to you by Isuzu.
When SportsCenter returns, never at a loss for words or victories. Rebecca tries to stay perfect on Sunday in the Garden. Golf galleries cry, "You the man." Sunday's tennis crowd shouted, "You the hen man." We'll have a report from Wimbledon next.
Hello, you've reached the Big League Detective Agency. We're staking out Atlanta's bullpen right now and can't come to the phone. If you need immediate information, check out our column on ESPN Sports Zone, where you'll...
Rebecca Lobo carried one of the most remarkable streaks in sports history onto the courts of the WNBA on Sunday. She hadn't lost a basketball game since March 26, 1994. 35-0 the subsequent season at the University of Connecticut, 52-0 during the U.S. national team's year-long run-up to the Olympics, 8-0 in the Olympics, 2-0 in the exhibition season of the New York Liberty, and 3-0 in the Liberty's opening week. 100 straight wins. But Sunday she saw something entirely new, her first victory on her home court as a professional. The Liberty and the Mercury are patient. Early in the second, Sophia Witherspoon, Lobo cutting to the hoop. That's 2, New York 32-27 using the ABA ball. Phoenix cutting it to 1, and then Lobo inside. New York 38-35. Time running down. Jennifer Gilman of Phoenix, little finger roll. The lead is 3, 60-57, but New York inbounds quickly to Witherspoon, and they foul her, and that's the ball game. Liberty 65-57, undefeated at 4-0. Lobo now 101-0. She ends with 13. Witherspoon 14. Johnson 20. The Liberty 4-0, 6-0 counting exhibitions. The turnovers in the WNBA so far, as Lobo points out, most of the teams have been together for like 6 games. They are new. And they drew 17,780 to the Garden, the biggest crowd ever for a women's pro game in this country. And the Charlotte Sting also win their home debut, and the Rockers scoring just 44 points and falling to 1-3, acting suspiciously like the Cleveland team in the men's NBA. Dan?
It was Wimbledon's version of Woodstock, with Tim Henman playing the role of Jimi Hendrix. A first-come, first-served concert-like atmosphere swept through the All-England Club on Sunday. The local headliner brought down the house with a performance worthy of an encore. Sal Paolantonio with that story and more.
The number 1 and number 2 seeds Martina Hingis and Monica Seles seem to be on a collision course for the finals at Wimbledon this year, although Seles, who was knocked out in the second round last year, survived another serious scare in the second round again on Sunday.
Going out there today, I just really didn't want to repeat that. I said, not again, the second round, the same thing. If you lose, at least lose playing some good tennis.
While Hingis has a relatively easy route to the finals, Seles is grouped with a much tougher draw, including Arantxa Sanchez-Vicario, who has reached the Wimbledon finals the last 2 years.
I feel pretty good. I have a good preparation before I came here, and my game is improved, lately from the past months, and I'm getting more confidence, and I'm feeling more comfortable on the court.
On the men's side, only 3 Americans remain: Alex O'Brien, Richie Renenberg, and number 1 seed Pete Sampras. Sunday's wildest drama was homegrown. British boy wonder Tim Henman battled for 4 hours with Paul Harhus on center court.
Every time I want a point, they say the roof's going to come off. For me, being British, playing on the center court at Wimbledon, and to go into the 5th set and save match point and turn things around and then win 14-12 in the 5th. Yeah, what can you say?
What Winston Churchill said was, never give up, never give up, never give up. Tim Henman will need those words of inspiration again when he faces defending champion Richard Krajicek next. Reporting from Wimbledon, I'm Sal Paolantonio, ESPN.
Still to be served on SportsCenter, the Sunday conversation with the usually reticent Eddie Murray, who talks about how he'd like his baseball eulogy to be written. That is next. This is SportsCenter.
4 hours of sports news is a wonderful idea. That way you can have sports coverage of everyone, not just the headline grabbers, but all God's children. The less talented, the less athletically gifted. Of course, I wouldn't focus entirely on them. Maybe once a month, late at night. Are you guys showing any of those blooper reels? I love seeing some guy get a fastball to the groin.
Sunday Conversation is brought to you by Sprint, ranked #1 for long-distance customer satisfaction by J.D. Power and Associates.
Eddie Murray broke into the big leagues on the very same day the Toronto Blue Jays did, April 7th, 1977. Now 21 years, 3,000 games, 3,000 hits, and 500 home runs later, Murray's baseball eulogy has a Cooperstown, New York dateline. In the Sunday Conversation, Murray rests on his laurels with the help of Roy Firestone. Eddie Murray, the Sunday Conversation.
You are the most prolific switch hitter in baseball history. I mean, certainly of anybody alive, and people immediately think of Mickey Mantle, and rightly so, as a great switch hitter. But, you know, home runs and 3,000 hits, no one could compare that. Do you think about that at all?
Something you don't think about because you'll always open up a can of worms where you'll find the other side then trying to beat you down. All I've ever tried to do in this game is to go out there and play it the best I could. And to me, the approach I took was to have fun. To me, you have fun, you're going to do whatever it is you're doing pretty well, I think.
You've always been that figure, that force in the locker room.
I've never tried to do that, but I found that out even when I was 21 that guys were looking up to me at the way I went about playing and things of that nature. And when you hear that these guys that are 30 years old are looking up to you, this was strange.
30-year-olds were looking up to a 21-year-old?
Well, yeah, like I said, it wasn't necessarily a lot of times what I said, but it was what I did.
If I could do it all over again, I'd
do it the same.
You like the way you did it?
Right. I'm happy with, you know, what I've done. I never intended on staying here in the game this long. I've had some tough moments where I would like to think certain ball clubs were making moves to bring back that little kid in you again, where you really love playing the game again. And
like the Orioles did when they brought you back?
Oh, that turned out to be better than I ever expected, because when I left, I thought it was time to leave. So therefore, the feelings were just sort of mixed on what was going to be there, you know, when I got there. And it was great that the club, we were quite a few games out at the time, and we were able to get in that wild card spot.
Take us through the moments of that 500th.
Well, all I know is when I got 499, you were hoping you could hit it so you didn't have to go home and face these orange cards that they had in Baltimore.
What were the orange cards?
Oh, gosh, they had some looked like 12 by 12 cards, and they all had my name on them. And the people were just roaring, and, you know, Eddie, and it got to be a point where I finally heard it. You know, I heard it my first year, and I had to learn to tune it out in order to play. And it got to a point where it was more visual. You know, it's not normal to see, you know, the whole crowd, you know, nothing but a sea of orange. And you start trying to do something you don't normally do. There's times when you told the guys in the dugout that you're going to hit a home run, but then all of a sudden at the command of these people, you're supposed to hit one. And it's like, oh, that was really tough.
What was the emotion like going on the bases?
I just felt it's over, you know, and as I was running, I didn't know what to expect, and you started to hear, you know, it was a rainy night in Baltimore, so there were some people there, but they were really making noise, and it was, you know, you just didn't know what the next thing was, but you hit home plate, and you saw the guy standing there, and, you know, I think they were glad to see it off of me.
The next 500 home run hitter will be?
I would like to say Mr. Griffey, only because if he can hit 49 in a third of the season, I mean, 3/4 of the season, you kind of really wonder if that 61 is in trouble. And it could possibly be playing at Kingdom up in Seattle.
How do you want to be remembered?
Just somebody who went out there you know, I went out there, heard a lot of times, I like being known as somebody who went out there and gave it all. To me, it's an emotional game. I mean, you know, like I said, I've been told I don't smile enough out there. I'm mean, I'm this, and I'm that. But the guys will tell you, nobody's having more fun out there than me.
Sunday Conversation was brought to you by Sprint, ranked #1 for long-distance customer satisfaction by J.D. Power and Associates.
And now it all belongs to the ages. Coming up, a tribute, a farewell, and adios, and arrivederci to the X Games? Okay.
It may not be the life many of you would choose.
Hanging out in hotel lobbies.
Always following the teams.
Just hoping to meet a power forward, point guard.
Dominant center with good passing skills.
We know what you call us.
Groupies.
Pretty boys.
Boy toys.
Stud muffins.
Bimbos.
Man meat.
Please don't judge us too harshly, because whatever we do,
We do out of love.
Love of basketball.
thank you.
Thank you.
Los Angeles, Cleveland, Thursday at 7:30.
To Summers Point, New Jersey for the ShopRite Classic. Michelle McGann in trouble on the 17th. In the rough, out of the rough. 3 feet from the hole. She would birdie to go to 11 under. McGann on the 18th. Another birdie to finish 12 under. A new 54-hole record. And the hardware, Michelle McGann. Didn't have a bogey in her final 41 holes. 41 holes, 6 of the 7 birdie putts she made, 8 feet or less. The win was McGann's 2nd of the year, 7th of her career. The U.S. Women's Open gets underway in 2 weeks.
For your dining and dancing pleasure, it's today's asbestos. We go to El Salvador first, the U.S. the World Cup qualifying match 6 minutes into the second half. At John Hucks, centering to Roy Lassiter. Looked up, and the ball was in the back of the net. 1-0 USA. 10 minutes later, the MLS star Raul Diaz Arce for El Salvador ties it up, and that's the way it ends. 1-1. U.S. remains third in the Cup standings, and the crowd goes wild. Yay. French Grand Prix, Michael Schumacher started on the pole, led after the first lap, never lost the lead. His 3rd win in 4 races. Champagne dreams. To California for the Hollywood Gold Cup, it's Gentleman and Siphon, neck and neck down the stretch. Gentleman and Siphon, Gentleman and Siphon, Gentleman and Siphon, Gentleman and Siphon, Gentleman and Siphon. All right, the jockey Gary Stevens records his 3rd Gold Cup victory aboard Gentleman. And now the best from the X Games.
It is a gilded run for Dave Mirra. He is stamping his name in gold.
Today's Best is brought to you by MasterCard. MasterCard, the future of money.
This weekend, enough racing to make your head spin. We've got fast track, wet track, and all kinds of short track. It's a regular G-Force Love Fest, and you're invited. Here's what's up ahead this weekend. Friday at 6, Winston Cup Happy Hour. Saturday at 10:30, NASCAR Today. Sunday at 11, RPM Today. On ESPN2.
Well, as you may have heard, because Dan keeps mentioning it, this is my final show at SportsCenter and at ESPN. There were a couple people I wanted to say something to and for. The 3 principal producers of this show, Norby Williamson, Mike McQuaid, Gus Ramsey. It's been a pleasure. Our principal coordinating producers in my 5.5 years' time here, Mike Bogat and Ed Schimmel. And our directors, Kevin Stolworthy, Lenny Daniels, and Linda Wilhite. I also wanted to thank the viewers. I wanted to have a nice thank you in memory of our dear friend Tom Mees, who meant so much to both Dan and myself. And, of course, to my tag team partner. Nothing will ever be the same again. Thank you for everything. Thank you for teaching me how to do this. And shut up.
Should I say something nice about you now?
If you can, 3 seconds.
Very fortunate to work with the most talented person in this business. He's now a newsman now. And I have one final word for him. Gone.
Now, on SportsCenter, the new and terrifying sports trend, the harvesting of body parts, skin, hair, fists, senior fists, bodily fluids, and even you know. And, of course, ears today, gone tomorrow.
I caught him with a good shot. Then he bit my other ear.
Full coverage ahead of the Loeb blow. No, that's not who I meant, but she does put a remarkable streak on the line, and a remarkable number of people go see it. Remarkable? This is part of a no-hit bid. This is a little more towards the likely, as, especially lately, is this. You know how hot it was in